thread will get going. There we go. Welcome everyone to our SoCal monthly meetup. I'm Becky calling. I live in Glendale, but teaching up in Santa Clarita. Oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've been on campus, I forget where I teach. This is not good, guys. Up in Santa Clarita, Newhall School District. And we've got our other SoCal leaders. Karen.
I'm Karen Lagola. I am at Beverly Hills High School, and I actually had to drive not to the high school, but to Beverly Hills this past week, and it was quite wow, this is what it used to be like every day. I used to do this. It was kind of strange. And Stacy?
Hi, I'm Stacy Klein, and I teach STEAM and STEM and robotics in Santa Unified, and I'm an instructional coach part of the day as well, and on the Canvas team. And I felt the same way. I went to school yesterday to get some materials out to our students, and it's surreal to drive on the freeways without cars on it right now.
For real, yeah. All right, and we have our link in here. Oops.
Yep.
There we go.
Hi, so Andrea. We've got some Santa Ana Unified peeps in here. Yay. Hi, Mel.
It is not.
That's the slide link, just for the slide deck. So I use a Rebrandly.
No, thank you.
Share.
There we go. I wanted to.
Oh, you're trying to grab it.
It just didn't like me very much. Yeah, so thank you, Karen, for putting the slides together. And I haven't used Rebrandly. I've been using Bitly, so I'm going to check that out. On our agenda, oh, go ahead.
I like it because you can customize everything. As you'll see, ours will always be like the month, the year, and then meetup. So it's easy, and they'll all be the same.
I love it. Yeah. Nice. Well, yeah, welcome, everyone. We're going to have a quick activity Karen put together for all of us, and then I'm super excited because Trevor is also here. We'll introduce him in just a minute, but he is going to be presenting on all things assessments, which I know is some of our favorite topics, but also incredibly important, right? And then we are going to have some time to get to our town hall, so we're going to be talking about forms today. Those seem to go with assessments, and we'll share that feedback with Google. So they are listening, and they actually do want our feedback on all of this. So we'll be sure to share that out. Karen, take us away.
So we are going to be doing a poetry activity. Some of you might know it if you follow Betsy, who's down there, now sparkcreativity.com. If you don't, she's awesome. But I shared this with my teachers at the high school when the new year started, and the kids loved it. They actually are still creating poems. They're going back to the shared slide deck, and they're just adding more and more. So I thought it would be fun for us. I will put that link in the chat for you guys, so you can go straight to the slide deck. And I'm going to give us about 3 minutes. You'll see that I did a little example. My poem is about community. You need to use the words on the slide. When you open the slide deck, you can pick whatever slide you want, the background that speaks to you. You can make your poem about whatever you feel right now. Whatever is on your mind. If you need a different background, feel free to change your background, but you need to use the words that are there. If you want to create or add words, you can add new words if you need to, if you're dying to. Otherwise, just drag and drop, and we'll start our timers. Everybody got the, I'm going to assume I see everybody shaking their heads. Awesome, we can start our timer. Just be mindful, you can add your name to a slide once you jump on it so people know that's your slide. Or your Bitmoji, that helps. Then we know it's you.
The word I need isn't available.
It's frustrating.
I know, me too.
I think we just
I
start
actually
jumping
did
on,
as well.
sorry. I think we just start jumping onto other people's slides and copying and pasting different words. Oh, I like that word. I'll steal that one.
I could swear I saw the word boring somewhere. I guess you could change it if you really needed to.
You could just put a new square. You could change it. You can
There
create your
you
own
go.
tile. That's okay. I did add the word free to mine, I believe. And I had plenty of time.
Oh, that's the timer.
Oh.
We're already up? I don't have a full sentence.
Crazy. See? 2 or 3 minutes. I knew it should be 5. That's okay.
Hey,
We'll give you a
Karen,
couple.
how would I write a new word in a tile?
So if you want to create that on here, you would go to Insert,
Oh,
and you can insert a square box, and you can make it white, and then you can just type in it.
okay. It's like the other. I didn't know if it was a particular style. Thank you.
Yeah, it's not the same. I mean, it's not the same just because that's in the master, so it'll look different, but it will give
Got
you the
it.
same effect as what this is. That's kind of what I
Mhm.
did. So this will be on our slide deck, you guys can see, but it's a fun activity, and I was just so excited that our kids just can't stop making poems, which is fun.
Oh, super cute. Thank you.
Quick question. Is each slide have a different set of words?
No, they should all be the same.
Okay, thank you.
I love it. Will we be able to share out a clean copy of this too?
Yeah.
Like a fresh copy? Okay, cool. We'll get that shared out.
Or
We'll get
just,
that on
I already did that. I did file, make a new copy because I'm like, oh my gosh, my mentoring class. I'm doing this tomorrow.
Love it.
Wonderful.
All right. We are going to turn the mic over to Trevor. And Trevor, I'm going to have you fully introduce yourself because you will be able to much better than I will, but I'm honestly super excited about this. Having given a 3-hour assessment today, I need some assessment excitement. So
Yeah,
take
absolutely.
the stage.
Sure. I'll be able to take over presenting, just making sure. Yeah, cool. Okay. Cool. Sorry, I hate to say I use another platform with my classroom, so still getting used to it just a little bit, but okay. Hello, my name is Trevor Angood. I'll throw up actually I'll do 2 things at once. I will drop the link to my document. Nope, that's not it. Copy and paste the one from earlier. This is my document. There you go. I'll talk about that a little bit later, just as I introduce myself. So my name is Trevor Rankin. I'm the teacher librarian and a sociology teacher at Eastlake High School down in Chula Vista. It's also where I graduated from high school. I did my undergrad at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor in social studies, secondary education. I'm currently a grad student, master's candidate at Cal State Long Beach in their EdTech Media Leadership and Librarian Credential Program, and I'll be wrapping up a little bit later this year. Here's hoping. So what I shared with you, I can put this slide back up a little bit later, just as an introduction to myself, and I am a level 2 Google certified educator, which I didn't know that they just recently changed the badges when I went to go download it last night. The document that I just shared with you is what you have in front of you. You are welcome to make a copy of this. In fact, I encourage you to make a copy of it to take as your takeaway for tonight. I left you a spot. I'm going to be talking about sort of doing an overview of this document and then talking about some of the applications. I have not created a slide deck. I just have a deck with one of these applications for that low tech assessment, as I'll talk about in a little bit. But basically, I just wanted to give you a bunch of resources that you could take home. I left a box in the bottom right that you can use to keep notes, that you can, sorry, view full screen. There we go. You can type in notes. You are welcome to use this as much as you want. I've given you links for everything. And so all of the links will point to that actual application. Next to it, I've given you a link to the Common Sense Media Review that you're welcome to use as well. Some of those links are referral links. Use them if you want. You don't have to. I get like a free month of something, but whatever. So one of the things, this whole presentation started out as a presentation because of wanting to give teachers many ways to be able to assess their students, but not necessarily, excuse me, but not necessarily with a multiple choice fill out on a piece of paper. Although my favorite time with the multiple choice quiz was the time that I gave a quiz with all the answers were C. And so when you have 7th graders that are starting to try to figure that out, I'm biting my cheeks to stop from laughing so much. So anyway, what I've done is basically create a document of a bunch of different applications and kind of categorize them. There's the one, sorry, I should check. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay, just making sure. I've got you down off to the side. Just want to make sure. Cool, and you guys are still seeing my document, correct? Okay, cool. So I've broken these assessment tools up into 3 different categories. The one that I like to call on-the-fly assessments, which you can certainly use as quizzes, tests, or quizzes, tests, quick check-ins at the beginning of class, at the end of class, exit tickets. I've given links for, or I've did another category of those times when you want to do review games with students. They're sometimes a lot of fun because the competition is real no matter what grade you taught. As I mentioned, I taught 7th grade for 8 years. I teach high school now. And then the last 2 are basically assignment platforms. And those are the ones that are almost like, not LMSs, but basically it's all these assignments. You can keep track of standards and see how kids do over time. And they're great conversations for like parent-teacher meetings or IEP meetings, take your pick. So we are basically going to play here. I'm going to talk about one first, and then we're going to play afterwards. And you guys get to pick which ones you want to play, because I have everything except Edulastic. I have games and stuff and examples all set, ready to go. I did a similar presentation at San Diego Q. I've never seen teachers fight so much over the 50 states and where their location is in Quizlet. It was hilarious. And I'm just sitting in the back. I'm like, this is funny. So the first one I do want to talk about, to sort of talk about that low tech, would be Plickers. And so some of you may be familiar with Plickers. They've expanded, especially with hybrid learning. They've rolled out a feature where you can do scanning both of your students in the classroom as well as those who may be joining in virtually as a hybrid platform. I've given you directions for there. For those of you that aren't familiar with it, this is where I just have my slide deck. And it's just me talking about what Plickers looks like. So every student is assigned what I like to call a geographic Rorschach painting. It looks like this. I meant to grab mine at school, but I believe I lent them out to another teacher. And so what happens is that every student is assigned a number 1 through 40. So you can see the numbers here, 1, 1, 1, 1. There's 40 different versions of it. And in fact, I believe they go all the way up to 63 if you have a larger classroom. You'll notice the letters that go all the way around the sides. Basically, the students hold these at 45 degree, I'm a history teacher, 45 degree angles, 45, 99, yeah, okay. They're able to answer questions. What happens on the teacher side is that they are scanned by the teacher, and it looks something like this. There's no sound to it. But as you can see, I'm basically scanning my whole classroom with a phone. You'll see their answers pop up automatically. Up at the top, I can see how kids are doing in terms of the numbers correct or incorrect, and whether students are incorrect or correct as well. Don't worry, it wasn't they were doing bad. This is my Avid class that I used to teach, that they were just doing it for me. So they're just having fun with it. I gave them all fake names like Peter Pickle and Betty Boop or whatever. I don't care. So they're just playing around with it. So that's not my teaching practice right there, I promise. My kids do a little bit better than that sometimes. So what happens is that I can basically just stand at the front of my classroom. Those sheets are 8.5 by 11 sheets. I can get a good 20, 30 foot distance of my students as I'm scanning them. The one thing to note, which my AP government students found out about, is that you cannot rotate your phone sideways to scan it because it reads the answers wrong. I'm trying to figure out why I have so many kids doing so horribly on my quizzes, reading quizzes in AP government, because I turn my phone sideways. Oh, it'll make it easier. I can scan more people. Nope, it was the wrong answers. So that's when they got a lot of extra credit, just because I messed up. So once you're out of there, you do have, this is where you build all of your library and all of the questions. Those are easy to be saved, and you can go back and reference later. You can put packs together for different sections. And then here's what it looks like in the analysis, where you can see how everyone answered. For San Diego Q, I made some fun questions like: a butcher's of normal height at 5'10" what does he weigh? Meat. What's the document that replaced the Articles of Confederation, the Constitution? Unfortunately, 3 people got that wrong. Huh. Yeah, we need civics lessons in school. Anyway, but then you have a platform where you're able to see how kids are doing overall. So you can look at the whole quizzes, or so like that spreadsheets that you see in a lot of different assessment tools now, that you're able to get that bigger picture idea of how your students are doing. Okay, so that is pretty much it on Plickers. Can we do questions at the end, or questions here? Or we can do questions by platform. It doesn't matter to me. So I've got the chat off to the side that I can see how we're doing, or we'll just continue on. So I'm going to go back to my document. We'll come back to here. Are there any ones on here that you guys would like to see, or you just want to see my favorites?
I want to see GimKit.
Me too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's what
Okay.
I wanted to see. Give me
And
that.
your favorites.
Can we stop the fighting, please? I mean, really. So GimKit is a relatively newer one for me. And so I started this with my sociology students just to play around with it. I would highly recommend. There is some trickery that can happen with these reviews. You're looking at multiple choice answers, but then you can either, students can compete against each other by either supporting their own scores, or you can let's talk about it. I love this one just to play around with. And I haven't even seen everything that it does. I just signed up for the pro account last night, but let's go ahead. I've given you a topic that's just the world capitals. I've selected some countries. Let me click log in just to get into my platform, and we're going to play first. So let's play. I will share. You'll share the screen.
I love it.
Okay. So some of these, like I've done classic and team mode. The other ones, I don't know what these are. So I'm going to do classic mode just because it's the one I'm most familiar with, and it's the one where I can give positive or negatives, and you guys can freeze each other and all that fun stuff. So no class, starting cash, I'll give you $500. Players won't be able to go below, won't be able to go below -50. There's an answer check. We're going to turn off music and clapping because it gets really annoying, especially with speakers and microphones and whatnot. I'll allow you guys to join in late. You've got power-ups, themes. I'm going to let you hurt other players just because you should see what this looks like, because I can imagine tears in those K-3 classrooms. I do it with high schoolers, where it's high schoolers. They're having fun with it. But it's also really funny to hear in your audio, to hear in your earphones while you're doing virtual. Oh man, why'd you do that? We're just going to play for 2 minutes, but you can all set up a race where everyone's just trying, all players are racing to try to get to $100,000, or all in, all players try to earn as much money as they can, but the game ends when the collective total of all players meets that goal. This money transfers with students. When you set up classes, the money transfers with them. They can buy themes, they can buy power-ups, it's like bribing your kids, but not really. So let's do time. I'll just do it 2 minutes just to play, just so we can get just a taste of it. If you want to go, let's see if I can copy and paste this into the chat. I can. So I'll post it in the chat. And I believe you'll just have to enter your name. Whoops, sorry. Oh, actually, there's a link. I did not realize that. Like I said, this is one of my newest ones. So there's your link in the chat. I just want to make sure what shows up on my side, just to make sure. Okay. And you'll just enter your name. So go ahead and enter your names. Give you about 2 minutes there. Is there any questions I can answer while people are getting in?
So Trevor, when they accumulate cash, they could transfer it to, like, if they were in Miss Collins' class and if they're in Miss Lagola's class or something, or just my class?
I think it's just my class.
Good.
This one, I'm one of the first users of, I think, of GimKit on my campus, so I haven't looked at it fully, but I'm pretty sure just, Great question.
Yeah, I was just, maybe I'll send it to the kid. This is like started by a high school kid.
Yeah, this was created by a high school kid.
Wow.
Yeah. This is at the point where if you're getting to the kids that are like tired of quizzes or tired of Kahoot, even though I put them in there, but it's just something different. I'm going to go ahead and start the game. People are welcome to join in late, which is fine. And then, so I'm going to go ahead and hit start. Game started, and you should have questions on your screen. Now, if you want to keep seeing what I'm doing, I can give you increase your balance. So if you have that kid that maybe isn't doing so hot, you can increase their balance. At the top, I'll wait a couple more. Sorry, Eric, I'm going to freeze you. You've spent a little bit too much time at the top. Just kidding. But you can start doing that to other players as well once you earn money. There is music you can toggle on and off, but I just have it in my AirPods right now. So it's just like a little video game music. Okay, I can give Reshma a little bit more points. So I have the options of, I can remove people from the game. I won't do that. You can increase or decrease balance by 10% on either side, as well as you can ice someone. I see. Okay. So there's a remote communication option that you can have students join through Zoom or YouTube live stream. Be about 45 seconds left on this game. So you're able to purchase like streak bonuses. So you'll get an additional 10% of cash for every correct answer. Girls upgraded to multiplier level 2. Feel like Oprah, everyone gets dollars in cash. So there we go. Stacy had $631 in third place, and M $687 in second place. Sheila got first place with $690. So obviously we had some fun. You learned a few world capitals, hopefully. But that view report is where you're able to assess that data and see how kids did. And then go back and like, okay, here's a student overview. Here's a general overview. And then question breakdown. I can see how well students did back and forth, because that's the assessment you want. So you could easily just do a 3, 4, 5 question check-in at the beginning. For my class sociology and down in Sweetwater schools in Chula Vista, we are virtual but synchronous, asynchronous, and I do kind of the flipped model. I could easily just throw 4 or 5 questions of the reading. Then there's the questions. Okay, that guides me how my lesson goes. The beauty of this also is that you are able to, sorry, I'm gonna go back to the hub, GimKit Live. Got it, thank you for the news, GimKit Live. When you're creating a new kit of studying, all you gotta do is just call it test, it's in English. Sorry, can't find, so that's probably at the top. Yep, and then hit next. So that World Capitals one is one, yep, good question, Reshma, I'm just getting to that right here. So you're able to create flashcards, you're able to add questions. You can also add from a question bank or an import from a spreadsheet. So adding from the question bank, like I wanted to search those I use those world capitals. I didn't create it. As it's popular in teaching, I begged, borrowed, and stole it. Okay. So world, capitals, and I think there's one that had like 201 questions, this one. So I just start adding questions. Boom, boom, boom. There's my question. Okay. A couple questions. If your school has hero points, you can convert the results to rewards. Yep. Do they have a library of questions by subject or topic? Yep. You just have to search for it. Gives you the option to see the correct answer, then test you on it again and choose to skip the correct answer choice, LOL, and continue missing the same one over and over. Nice. With the thing that you bought, so it depends on what you bought. Some of them are like, it gives you an extra percentage points for questions correct. Others are freezing other players. Others are like you get bonuses for getting 2, 3, 4, 5 questions correct in a row. So that is about all that I know about GimKit. I love this one. I wish I played it more with my sociology students. I think we're going to do that more just because it's a lot of fun. And it's also just fun just to hear them argue, like, why'd you freeze me, bro? So so that's GimKit Live. We can play it again. And then there's a full scoreboard as well. Okay, so that's GimKit. Let's see. Oh yeah, virtual dollars, because kids like money, even if it's virtual. I worked at a school that we used to give net positive and negative like behavior points, and I jokingly say, you get 200 points, and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, I didn't say coolest points, I just said 200 points, whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. What's next? What do you guys want to see besides Edulastic? Sorry, that's the one I'm not prepared for.
Librarian's choice.
What's that?
Librarian's choice.
Dearest choice. So I'm gonna go with my favorite, which Reshma, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. That's Go Formative. That has been my lifesaver for teaching sociology. So Go Formative, as it says, is like an assignment platform. It is very, very similar to Edulastic, and I'm not trying to dog one company or the other because I was basically stuck between the two. Basically, I had issues with Edulastic connecting to my Google Drive. You lose, I go to Go Formative. But yeah, that is my go-to assessment tool. It's my go-to assignment tool even, as I'll show you in just a second. Do you guys want to play? Cool. Okay, let me pull up my guide. Let me get to my Go Formative. Actually, that was my referral link, I think, but that's okay. So Go Formative syncs very well and is beautiful with Google Drive, Google Classroom. Grades can be sent to Google Classroom. For my personal grade books, I do everything in Go Formative except for a couple Google Classrooms assignment specifics, like we're watching Freaks and Geeks later this week, tomorrow. And then it goes to my grade book. So it syncs with Google Classroom grades, depending upon what your LMS situation is like. And then as you can see, everything's kept here. Let's play first. So we're gonna do the trying out Go Formative. This one's only 5 questions. Nope, don't look at the answers. Nope, don't look at the answers. So here's what you can do once your assessment's built. Again, I give you all the guide and information about how to get started, but I'm able to, like my 3rd period sociology, they played with this last week, but I'm able to adjust multiple things. So 1, I can restrict anything to individual students. If you have students that you need to modify or adapt curriculum for, you can send it to them. And then it's sent to Google Classroom to those students. I can schedule open and close time. So my students know that if there's stuff that, a lot of stuff I do in here besides quizzes is, I want to say extracurricular, but I know that's not it. Like just activities that go along with what we're talking about. I'll usually open it up at 8 a.m. if the kids want to work on it and get some practice before class, but they have so much time to do it. So I can open and close it at any time. I can set a time limit, custom 15, 30, 60 minutes or none. So for quizzes, if you just want 3 minutes for a quiz, yep. After the submission, you can make it disappear. You can allow edits, good for mastery-based learning. You can show them the scores instantly when it's closed or after the student submits, either show answers or not, and then display the questions in random order. For this one, I'll go ahead and show the scores instantly, just so you can see what that looks like, but you can always turn it off afterwards. I guess I'll allow edits afterwards. It's only 4 questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit assign. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna have to do the top part. Oops, sorry. That's gonna take one thing off, just to turn off my 3rd period so those names aren't showing. Let me give you the guest codes. You're gonna do the top portion. I'll copy and paste it into the chat. Sorry, it's gonna be a little wonky, but there's that. And as you can tell, I only got 45% on my attempt at this, so, and I wrote it, so good luck. Just kidding. Let me know if there's any issues or anything else, or I wonder if I can just post it. Let me see if the direct link will bring it up. I'm just gonna try this in an incognito real quick. Okay, yep. Let me try this. Test, join. Okay, yep. So let me give you the link. I'll put the link in the chat, and you just have to enter your I think you sign in as a, I'll try it again. You can either sign in with a Google account. Now it knows that I'm there. Guest students, we'll go and open it up. There, we've got people already there. So look, I can see students working on this as it's going. Yeah, first name's last name's fine. So while your kids are taking quizzes, I can see this going right away. I can also hide their names. So it just says names hidden, and I get an idea of how well students are doing. That question 4 is stumping you. I've given you partial credit for it, so try your best.
Oh, the single line drawing is way cool.
So, and I'll talk about the question choices in just a second, or just after we're finished, or once everyone goes. If you give up, go ahead and hit submit, so you can see when students are submitted. As I'm showing on the screen here, I can show by percentages or by percentages or points, as well as leave commentary. So I can leave commentary in while they're working on it. Some kids are freaked out. Where is this coming from? Mr. Angood, is that you? Yep, it's me. Some of you tried the drawing. Some of you got it, maybe. I just have to see if you actually did it or if you just cheated and drew a square with a cross or with an X and with a triangle.
I did it.
Cool. I'm going to ask you for the how you did it in just a bit.
Okay, yeah.
Or anyone. Yeah, cool.
I got it. I'm doing it on my phone though. It's kind of tricky.
Yeah, that's the one. Like, so for some students of mine will do the quizzes because all my quizzes are multiple choice, true and false. So they'll do it on their phone. So that might be a little bit easier. But this one, yeah, the drawing can be a little bit difficult. And I'll have to mute myself because I feel like a sneeze is coming. My apologies. So anyway, glad that's going on the video. Cool.
The faster you try to do it, the better you get at it, because you just go, oh yeah, I got it.
Oh, Stacey, you're giving the answers. Oh,
I'm sorry.
There are multiple ways to do it too, but yeah, that's one of my puzzles where when I was substitute teaching, I put it up on the board and just like if the kids are just something to work on off the side. Okay. So most of you are still, I mean, obviously you can come back. This will be open. I think I left it open as long as you want. And so let's talk about the question choices or what you're able to do. This is what's killer for me. So obviously you saw the matching with the Disney character to the main title. You have multiple choice and multiple selection. This show your work. The show your work, it's basically you're giving your kids a Google Draw that they can work on and add text in. Put up a any type of template or any type of document that you want them to work from. Have them annotate text. My kids have organized on like T-charts, or what's a multiple of a T-chart where there's like whatever. But they can just do whatever they want, or just write a response back, or they can just highlight or annotate text. It's almost like all the features and tools you could do in a Google Draw, you can do in here. And then finally, you have the resequence. So for example, in the next couple of weeks, we're looking at like my kids are just practicing steps in the scientific method. They're just practicing it. They're just putting it in sequence. Boom. I don't even have to, I mean, it should be mostly review for them, but The answers for those that are curious, the youngest to oldest is JoJo Siwa, Maddie Ziegler, Billie Eilish, Tom Holland, Harry Styles, and Taylor Swift. Now, the other questions, and I may have to load some off to the side so I can pull it over. You have a ton of questions that you can do. This is what we're looking at. Kids can respond by audio. Kids can categorize. They can write an essay. They can do graphing. They can match. They can multiple choice. They can multiple selection. They can do numeric. They can resequence. They can do a short answer, show your work, or true or false. You can pull in audio, embed, image, text block, video, whiteboard. You can even pull in a PDF document and have kids answer the questions from that document. Okay. Yeah, okay. Sheila, I'll be happy to answer that question. So you can pull in any image, PDF, Google Doc image that they can, like, what do you notice, and put that into a show your work. Or you have a document maybe you borrowed from like the United States Cost Memorial Museum that have tons of lesson plans and questions to respond to text, video, photos. You can pull that in. Let me just check something real quick. Yeah, okay, I'm just checking on another assignment. I'm trying to find like a good one that shows everything, but I don't particularly have one ready. Oh no, I can do this. Okay, so one of the things that I had the students do for me was, one of my last units was looking at the political power of senior citizens, of like looking at my inequalities of age and gender. And so I wanted them to look at the Villages, which is the senior citizens retirement village outside of Orlando that some have said is like Disneyland for senior citizens. And so I just wanted to look at a few YouTube videos, read through some articles, and just give me the, what did you notice? Describe the political power of older Americans. What points are used by Joe Biden? What points are used by Donald Trump to get their voters out? Things like that. They're just responding to. They can just throw it in and start giving, but I can give them all the resources so it's right there to view. Yeah. And then the powerful one, I've got to pull it off again so I make sure my students' names are hidden because I want to show you the full one. Tracker. Oh yeah, that's why. Last 2 years. Sorry, just 1 second. Feel free to keep typing those questions and I'll get to them in just a second while I'm loading my report. And it's pulling a lot of data, my apologies. Actually, I'll do the data because I'm waiting for it. There we go. Actually, it just popped up. There. So the names are hidden. I'm trying to do this just because I am trying to hide student names. So I can show you what it looks like for the full period, but I won't show individual student data. But I can look and see how students are doing on average for different quizzes. As well as I can go in here and see how Billy did all the way across, like, oh, he got a 45% on the quiz or whatnot. Then I can go back. I can even look at the data sort of by first name, last name, how long or further back to look, what type of assessment. And so this is all stuff that you tag in your assignment specifically, what grades, what types of assessments, like I said, subjects, and then you can export this as an Excel spreadsheet. You do also have a library where you can beg, borrow, and steal from others. These questions you can easily pull into and create your own assessments. So there's a library for it as well. Like I said, this does sync up with Google Classroom and grades. So actually I can show you real quick what one of my classes, formatives, like one of my students is working on right now, chapter 1 all-in-one, view responses. I'm gonna go ahead and hide names. There we go. So I can see when students, so I can either look at this overall, cool, names are hidden. I can look at this overall and like just start clicking on answers to see, okay, yeah, that looks good. Okay, I'll grade that one. I can give it some points, give it some commentary. Some of these are auto-graded, like I have a couple multiple choice questions. I can see when students are working on in progress, and then students submit. They are able to come back and edit this up until, like I set everything for Sunday night deadlines, and then they get another week to revise if they like to, or resubmit if it's late. So yeah, and then again, I can export this data or just send it to Google Classroom to be a part of their gradebook as well. I'll come back to this document, a couple questions. Will students be able to access their work again? So you're able to go back if it's still open, and then you're able to edit all the way up until it closes. Further, can you get feedback that they can access again? Yeah, so students are able to see that feedback, like I put in there, hey, where's your answer? And they've come back and answered it, or that they can see once it reopens. When I clicked on my feedback, I was able to open my work again, but that's a good question. Yep, okay. I got 45%. I should go back to school. Good luck. Is it free for teachers? So this Google Socrative, Plickers. Socrative is freemium. Plickers is freemium. Quizlet is freemium. GimKit freemium. Quizzes freemium. GoFormative freemium. You get basically freemium. For those unfamiliar, freemium is it's free to start out with, or free for for a few tools, and then you have to pay more. GoFormative, I believe, was $15 a month. For me, well worth it. Well worth it. I mean, I'm happy to spend my money because of that, because of all the stuff that you saw, and that's just like pieces of it. So, yeah, so I'd say everything's freemium. EduElastic, I believe, is also freemium as well. Okay. Becky, Stacy, Karen, how are we doing on time? I can do one more. We can call it. It doesn't matter to me.
Karen, what are your thoughts?
What do we have? I think we could do one more, right?
Well, it's only 20 to 8. That's great.
Yep.
So what are we? So we've got Quizlet Live, quizzes, Socrative. I'll pick one.
Librarian favorite.
What's
What
that?
haven't people
Librarian
tried?
favorite.
Yeah, is there anything out there somebody hasn't tried that they want to try?
All quizzes.
Quizzes.
Okay.
I only know the most basics of it.
That's probably all you're going to get out of me. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, if you're familiar with Kahoot, you're familiar with quizzes. Kahoot has changed its model a lot, and I decided just to pick one over the other. I like quizzes a lot more because the gameplay occurs on student devices. I had a student once back in 7th grade, bless his heart. He posted in Google Classroom at 7 p.m., hey, anyone want to play Kahoot? I'm like, how are we able to see your screen? So it was so precious. It was just one of those like, oh, you tried. Oh, you tried. Anyway, so yeah, we can do quizzes. Let me see. I forget which game I have. Yeah. Oh, yep. I remember this. Okay. Let me pull up the game. And plus, you get to see my ultra cool memes that I made for this as well. So we're going to start a live quiz. Please don't. Oh, yeah, it's not showing the answers. Absolutely. So with quizzes, you can do it 2 ways. You can do a live game that we're going to do here, or I use this as a review game / test. The fun of teaching an elective is that I can do tests however I want. So I give it as a test that kids can do on their own, and it has to be done by a certain time. So I can start a live quiz. We're going to do classic, or there's instructor paced, almost like with Kahoot. You can do either goes along or you select how fast to go. We're going to do classic. So we're going to do classic. It's not assigned to any tests, but we're not going to assign it to a class because we're just going to play. You're going to enter a code. I can let you know, or I can give you as many attempts as you want. Name factory. We'll do name factory. Why not? So show answers during activity. I can turn this on, or you can validate, or you can look at it afterwards. So I let my kids go back and see answers after the fact. So I'll make the text a little bit bigger. There we go. Adaptive question making mode, so generate a unique set of questions every time to prevent copying and rote learning. Ooh. You guys will get power-ups. We'll do a timer. We'll show the leaderboard. We'll shuffle questions, also answer questions, redemption questions, and then I'm going to show you the memes. Here's my meme set that I created. I'm a big fan of Disney, as you saw in the first set. So yeah, I've made you some Disney memes. So you're going to have to score a few incorrect just so you're able to see all the cool memes that I made. So we're going to select that one. We're going to go ahead and hit continue. And then share, let me give you the link. I'll put the link in the chat. There's different themes. I like the default. So they have a Halloween one where as people are coming in, there's a wolf noise. And so when I presented at San Diego Q, I had a Bluetooth speaker in the back of the room. I scared my participants. It was funny. So yeah. Check to make sure that this is working on my end. Should only have to enter a name. Oh yeah, I created the factory. So we have Lemon Lorax. There we go. You should have, I believe you're able to set music on your side, I think. Not fun in a classroom of 30 students when they each have their own device because you get 30 copies of the same music going. That's fun. I believe people can join in after the fact. I'm going to go ahead and get started just because we are running a little short on time, but I'll go ahead and hit start, but I think people can join at any time. So I'm going to hit 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Some of you are getting some answer streak bonuses there. Some of you need to work on your logos. Just kidding. Which one did I, oh, I stumped you guys on Spotify. Ooh. Now what's fun is that sometimes people will be all locked in, but then someone sneaks from behind and jumps up to first place. I've seen it happen before. Like right there, Apple Athena just jumped from below fourth to second place. Those streaks that happen. So
yeah, and also,
people,
well, if you have redemption, the redemption helps a lot too.
Oh, there we go. Yep. So I'll go ahead and let the few people finish, or I might just go ahead and end it here. I think everyone's answered or may have hopped off. That's okay. Oh no, we got a couple more. So I'll go ahead and hit end for now. We're gonna go ahead and end it right there. Let's see how everyone did. You'll get the first place, second place, third place was Sesame Stanley, Apple Athena was second, and Yam Yusuf Zadeh. I apologize if I mispronounced his first. But yeah, these are all made up names. So you're able to look at either play again or skipping to results. So you can go in here, go in here and see how everyone did on like a scoreboard. This can, if you have parent names attached to this, I believe if you set up a roster from Google Classroom or parents are registered with their students, you can email results to the parents right away. As well as the class accuracy was 94%. Great. The toughest question was this one with Pepsi. Well, that Spotify question really threw a lot of you for a loop. The one that took the longest was the one about YouTube. And then interesting facts, the average time taken per question was about 2 seconds. You can download the results as a spreadsheet. And then once I go back in here, this should be in my reports, even though, cool, reports. There it is. So I can always come back and pull up and look at all the data as well that I can email to a parent. I can look and see how students are doing. With quizzes, you can set up multiple attempts. So if you want mastery-based learning, you can just work towards mastery if they want to keep working at it. And again, I can look at the question summaries. I can look at the overview and then topics if I had questions tagged to standards or to different topics as well. So that's quizzes. If I could just speak really quickly about one more platform, we're not going to get into it, but Quizlet Live. Quizlet is basically you're given vocabulary or terms or images to match and whatnot. I'm a big fan of playing to 12, but there's a great tip that I came across called playing to 11, because you have those groups where they always get it right. You know, the one kid in your class is on it, and whichever group they're in, that group is winning. Playing to 11 is that basically everyone plays to get to 11, which is the most you can get, -1. Then you're just timing the class to see how fast they get it. So it's just so like you don't have the kids, oh, Billy's in that group, they're gonna win, I'm just gonna hang out, yeah, I'll press a few buttons, yeah, I'll look. No, this one is a way to get everyone involved, as well as you can have people help out other teams or take your pick. You can also make Quizlet. You can change the, you can also change the how well they're able to, or how they're able to participate. I've had it done where classes are absolutely silent. I've done it where they're in groups but silent, where they're in groups helping each other out. the best one of my middle schoolers, I'd have them hold their laptops to show which team they're on, like Team Shark, Team Condor, or whatnot. And so they're holding their laptops trying to find who they're with. And then I just start the game while they're still trying to find their seats. If you ever want to see chaos, I miss teaching 7th grade so much. So yeah, just I gave you a couple tips in the blog of different ways to play Quizlet Live. And again, you've got a ton of resources there. I'm going to copy and paste my link one more time for this document. If you ever need anything, or if you want to make a copy of it, you may have missed it at the beginning. But I will call that time for me. I greatly appreciate you guys participating, taking part, asking questions. You've got my Twitter there, at Mr. Angood. And then my website's the same, mrangood.com. So thank you very much, guys. This was a blast.
Yay, Trevor, that was
Awesome.
outstanding.
Thank you. Yeah, that was amazing. And if anyone else ever wants to present at one of our monthly meets, please, we invite you to present. And Trevor, I'm just going to give you one little plug. You are Google certified level 2.
Mm-hmm.
Get that trainer.
Yeah.
Get the Google certified trainer.
My 3 grad school classes are kind of competing with that, but yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank you so much.
I just wanted, and
Yeah.
you can use this as one of your trainings. So,
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. We're going to jump over to forums and do a town hall. And so if you weren't able to participate in our last town hall, basically what we do is we take your feedback and then we share it out with the people at Google. And then they utilize it to hopefully help improve their platform. So as we go through it today, we are only focused on forms. So the only tool we're going to look at today is forms. You can either come off of mute and share your responses for how you're using the tool. There's 3 questions basically. How you use the tool, what are some of your successes with the tool, and what are some of your challenges? And we can talk through those together, but you can come off mute, you can put it in the chat, or you can fill out the form, or you can do all 3. So I put that in there, the link to the form if you want to fill it out, but otherwise I'll be filling out off to the side. We can start, like you can answer any of them at any time, but we can just start with how you're using the tool. And I see, Sheila, you put your response in the chat. Literary analysis. I like to use the feedback option while grading. Students receive the email that gets them to their quiz, plus my feedback. Sheila, you must be teaching older grades, yes?
Yeah, I teach high school.
Okay. Any way to use, okay, and then there was a question, is there any way to use them to add this document to their Google Drive? Right now, cutting and pasting feedback form and adding it to their online. Can you share a little bit more? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, so I use forms for quizzes. So I'll give them like 5 paragraphs from different novels and then ask them to write a short paragraph back that kind of does literary analysis. And then when I grade that quiz, there's that option in the grading, like you can give a score, but you can also give feedback. And when you click on the give feedback, you can type in like, I really liked your use of this. I wish you used this literary device. Like you can give feedback. And the students only see that when you release the quiz back to them. And so they get an email that says like view quiz results, and they can see like what score they got on each of those questions, and they can see my feedback. But I don't know how to allow them to save that. Like, it seems like they can only access it through that email that's been sent to them when a form has been released.
You are correct. That is the only way that they can access that. So if they wanted to save it, you could have them take a screenshot of that and create a folder in their drive for all their feedback screenshots. You could have them use that feedback and choose one of the comments you made to work on for the next quiz, so that they have to like write it down, or they have to keep track of your feedback and use it. But yeah, that is a thing with forums. It will only come as that auto email that's sent out.
Could you do use Google Sheets and give them the column of their data, and then would that work?
Yeah, if you share the data as a sheet, you could make that accessible, and then, you know, each column can be controlled, who can see it or who has I don't know about seeing it, but access to that column.
But I wonder if that would still share the teacher feedback. Because the whole point is, like, if you think about a quiz that students would give you in the real world, and you'd write on it, and then you'd give it back to them, and then they would put it in their folder where they could come back and access it again. So I'm just trying to think of a way to electronically file it away other than, hey, make a email folder that's just your forms that come back. So
You could, if you were really getting into your sheet, you could have it auto respond and or fill in another spreadsheet. That's, you could make spreadsheets for every kid and then have it auto fill in there and have like a feedback spreadsheet for every kid in your class. It depends on how much effort you want to put into that original setup.
That's going to be tricky though, because unless your answers are all the same, you're just going to have a really long sheet for each student, or unless your questions are the same, because it's not like you're going to be filling in the next box over. That's a challenge.
Yeah, it's not really the tool for that kind of thing. It's but if you were really, really motivated to do that, you could set up your original answer spreadsheet and it'd be complicated.
Yeah, for sure. If anyone has a solution, share out. And I will share this feedback too with Google. Reshma, I saw you had your hand up too.
Yeah, hi. I just wanted to share what I tried last time in my classroom. I teach similar grades like different days, and I didn't want it to make the same Google Forms again and again for quick assessment where they have to, because they always talk to each other. Oh, you had a quiz on this. What was the answer? And I tried shuffling the questions. It didn't work because I teach math and it's pretty easy to get the answers when they know the question. So I actually saw this on somebody's Twitter account. I don't remember exactly, or I saw a YouTube, but I tried it and it worked. So I started creating passwords for that particular quiz for each class. So my first question is always enter the password to access the form that your teacher gave you. And I would always give it to them after I share the form. As soon as the class, I see everybody has accessed the form, I change that password and I lock it and I shuffle the questions. So for the next class, I say, okay, till I give you the password, you cannot enter the quiz. So it actually worked, not to judge my students, but as from the point of view of teacher, it just saved a lot of my time, and it gave me actually quite a fair understanding of my students' knowledge.
That was awesome, Reshma. And then a lot of people have been talking about on Twitter about how the kids can find the answers to a quiz. And so the solution to that was just don't, when you first publish the quiz to your students, don't put the answers in it, or don't set the Google form as a quiz until you've closed the quiz. After everybody's answered the form and you've closed the quiz, then you can have it grade. And so the answers aren't embedded in the HTML for the kids to find. So there's like workarounds, but that was really awesome, Reshma.
Yeah, I actually had some teachers that put the wrong answer in as the answer when they set it up and gave it to the kids as their final at the end of the semester. Yes.
That's good, Karen.
We are very sneaky because you can go and change it and it'll then grade them correctly. But the password thing is something that really works well. It's a good.
Yeah, and I realized that I haven't done it yet, but we can always use the password to have that challenge power up. Like you finish this first quiz and then at the end, you receive a password to log into the next one. And the students are really excited to go and power up or level up to the quiz number that they are doing.
Yeah, another in my high school, another thing the math teachers do, because math is tricky, definitely with forms too, because it doesn't really have the ability to do equations really well, but they also have the students upload their work too, so especially when they want to use it for a higher stakes test that they can see it. So they take a picture and they put it in there as well. So that's another step you can take when we're trying to really drill down and see what students know.
Mm-hmm. And then Angela had put your hand up, and then Eric, you'll go next. So Angela.
Yes, I had just asked a question when you're using the Google form as a breakout room assessment. So there's no way not to put the answer in ahead of time. But one of the things you could do is put a lot of a lot of codes or information in the answer document so that they would have to scroll through a heck of a lot of material before they got to it. So that's the only way that I have found that I could work it. Does anyone else have any other suggestions?
I love all this innovative teacher, I don't want to say sneakiness, but definitely ingenuity.
No, that's an interesting one. I'm clearly not high school or middle school, so these are things that I don't think of too often.
And even my middle school, it's like they get crafty a little bit, but not quite on the scale of, so it's kind of cute.
Could it be something that once they finish the document she's talking about, that then they go to a waiting room, or like you could have a breakout room set up, and then when they're in that room, they have access to the link for the part that she doesn't want them to go to until they've done all the other work.
Ooh, that's cool.
You could
Angela, I love your technique though. That was really neat to really bury it in the data.
And then I'll just add real quick, because I know, oh, sorry. I know Eric has his hands up. I'll just make it really quick. Like I did a breakout room with a Berlin Wall, and all the work was on paper before they left, or was on paper. And then they had to exit my room to go do their meetup of trying to escape the Berlin Wall. It was a Google form that they had to click in. So it's in a separate space. So yeah, I like that idea. Anyways, my apologies, Eric.
I don't know if this is related or not. So I put a question about questions, but it can relate to forms because somebody just brought it up. I think it was Reshma who brought it up, or somebody said you could put a picture as a response in forms. I try to use the question feature for an on-the-fly assignment, like, hey, I want to check to see if you guys are understanding. And I just put a basic question out there and ask them to respond to it. Then I get if I add on to put a photo in, like in a slideshow or something like that, then it becomes like two separate things. And the question response, the grading is all just the question that they wrote, and the photo isn't with it. And I was wondering if Google's working on creating the interface for the question where they could drag and drop a photo in with what they wrote for their response to a question. Like make it more of a anything goes in that space as a response. Or
that would be cool, yeah.
Yeah. Or should I stick with the forms idea and say, all right, I'm going to make a quick form, just one thing that you're going to respond to, and then I can see what kind of photo that they want to represent for whatever our idea is. I teach film production, so that's why we do a lot of photography.
But it makes sense too for when we're giving students choice, like there should be multiple ways for them to respond. I like that idea.
Yeah.
No, I added that down. I think that could be helpful.
Nice, thank you.
Yeah. We also found just recently, there are certain questions in forms you can't add images. So if it is the grid, it's not called a grid, multiple grid. Yeah, thank you, multiple grid. You can't use images. And so for us, that's kind of a pain in the rear, especially when we're using like Equatio for the math problems, because fractions in third grade need to look a certain way, and for those ones we couldn't utilize it. So multi-grid, is that what it was, Reshma? Okay, I'm gonna add that.
Multiple grid, yeah.
Multiple grid.
So usually what I did in my class was whenever I put up the multiple grid, the next question is always upload the image of the work that you did. So I know it's one step more for the teachers to match it up, but I would really like if they can just put it right there.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
another thing that really drives my teachers crazy is that when you shuffle the answers, but your answers are multiple choice, A, B, C, D, then it shuffles that as D, B, A, C, and that drives us crazy. So we tried, like, and a lot of that was, again, back to algebra and geometry, because you're inserting pictures, right, of the equation, but then you're numbering. So we tried like all these ways to get around it, like a dot or a hyphen, so that it wasn't letters out of order. We stuck to emojis. That's the terrible thing. We just ended up putting them in. But if it would shuffle and then change the A, B, C, D, that would be better.
Yeah, on the same thought, because you said geometry, and being a math teacher, it just brings up all my classes in my mind. I just thought it would be so cool if students were able to do annotations on the geometry picture that we post, because we do a lot of proofs with geometry classes, and we mark the angles, we mark parallel lines and all those things. And I know they have to copy the picture, but every time it's not very easy to copy the picture in their notebook and then work on it. So on the particular image, if they can just annotate a little bit, label it or something. I don't know how that would work with forms, but that would be cool.
You know, Reshma and Karen, both of your comments are fantastic, and a lot of especially the Google Apps for Education really listen to the comments that the teachers input. And so I think Karen's thing and the teacher she's working with, saying if you're going to shuffle the questions, you need to shuffle the letters and not have them not shuffle the letters, so they don't move the letters around. And then Reshma, you need to be able to have suggesting that Google add the ability, because someone else is saying Cami, but that's taking a product sideways, whereas Google's looking for feedback to make their product better. So definitely, in addition to giving it to Becky for the town hall and to go through this channel, also put that input in the actual app, because Google does respond to that. And I've seen them pivot and add a functionality to a tool just a couple months after someone suggested it. So those are great ideas.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Oh, I'll add that.
We're
too.
a little, yeah.
And
we're at 8:05.
It's 8:08.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I will stop recording. I'm going to add annotations. Oh, before I stop recording, really quickly, upcoming.
Yeah,
go for it, Karen.
LA Palooza. So if you haven't already, sign up February 20th. It's a Saturday, and it will be a great day. Our next meeting will be March 2nd. And then I did just add the link to Global GEG always, because there's tons of things all the time that you can sign up for, not go to, and watch the video later when you want, like I did.
Exactly. Thank you all so much for joining us. And I will share this information out with May, who is our Google person. So, and then also thank you, Trevor. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.